Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Chick. I've been away for a little while because I was super sick, but I'm here today and I'm really excited to share with you some tips and ideas I have for the loved ones and relatives, friends, family of the bipolar individual. I really think that they'll help, so stick around because it's going to be a fun video. Are you ready to get started? Okay, then let's go. So, mania. It's a very rough thing for those of us with bipolar disorder to go through, and even harder for those close to us. Let's face it, manic episodes can be very frightening to witness, and while we can't cure our illness altogether, there are tips and suggestions that I've found helpful for my loved ones when I'm going through my own bipolar mania. So, what are the symptoms of a manic episode? Well, to begin with, mania is typically associated with a feeling of happiness, power, and elation. We feel invincible in the midst of our episodes, and we are super outgoing and willing to talk to anyone about anything. During mania, we may take on many new projects that aren't reasonable, like suddenly opening a business or even traveling around the world. We might go on wild shopping sprees, recklessly spending money. We really believe that we are unstoppable and all-powerful. Now, because impulsivity is a big part of a manic episode, and as we feel all this power and happiness, we may do certain things such as engaging in physical or sexual acts with people we've just met, spend a great deal of money on shopping sprees, invest in businesses, or even take out loans that we really can't afford. We may consume excess drugs or alcohol. Now, in addition to these things, we are struck by a feeling of urgency, as if we must act immediately before the opportunity is gone. Our thoughts are scrambled, and we stop thinking about the needs of others. It's all about us. Now, because mania can be a very scary time for those close to us, it's important for families and loved ones to have a plan in place until the mania passes. So now is when you should take out your pen and paper, because I'm going to share suggestions you might try. Are you ready? Well, then let's go. Well, because we are so full of energy and power, try talking to us on the go. I know this sounds silly, but it really does help sometimes. Suggest that a trip to our doctor is in order and offer to go with us to our appointments. You may have to bring up whatever point you're trying to say over and over, but do so in little bursts. Be generous with acceptance and understanding, and go light on blame and judgment. Provide snacks for us to eat on the go. During mania, it's not uncommon at all for us to barely eat at all. Another thing is just listening to the person experiencing mania will help reduce a sense of isolation. Discourage the beginning of any new projects that are irrational. Refuse to argue or otherwise engage in harmful conversations. This may be very hard, but it really does help. And finally, if you're able to stay at home with the person until the mania passes, that's all the better. Now, if these steps don't help and your loved one's behavior could result in some sort of harm, then involuntary hospitalization might be necessary. Now, involuntary hospitalization is something I would suggest that should be used only as a last resort. But what about the individual whose symptoms are destructive, like they're spending crazy amounts of money or they're committing infidelities, but they're not really at risk for suicide or aggression? Well, psychologists and psychiatrists really have no clear-cut solution or approach in dealing with situations like these, because everyone is different, and what works well for one person may not work with another. There's a lot of trial and error. If your bipolar loved one is already connected to a treatment team, such as a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, or any mental health care provider, inform them of the person's situation and your concerns. They will usually try to work with the family and other loved ones to re-engage the person into care. If the healthcare providers say they can't speak to you, that may be true, but they can listen and take action on the information and insight that you provide. I hope some of these suggestions are helpful, and if they are, please share them with others you think might find them useful. What about you? Do you have any suggestions that would be helpful as well? Please share them. Thank you so much for joining me today, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, see you next time.